know.
Wow. Jerry just informed me he's gone 2 straight shows without swearing. So, yesterday, Jerry, you were probably being polite because we had a guest on, Soccer Bob. So you probably just wanted to be polite, not to swear. The episode before I missed. So I don't know how Jerry's gone 2 episodes without swearing, but we are live here. I'm going to have a hard time not swearing on this episode. Mario's going to have a hard time not swearing on this episode. We are live wrap up for what ended up being a pretty heartbreaking defeat when they were just 3 minutes, including extra time, 3 minutes away from a draw at the Meazza between Inter and Real Madrid. Inter find a way to snatch defeat, I should say, from the jaws of victory or the jaws of a draw, whatever you want to call it. I see Trambach, who's a Real Madrid supporter, is already in. He wouldn't miss this one for the world. We do have a Real Madrid supporter with us. We wanted to cover both sides as evenly as possible. So it's not really even because we have 2 Interisti. We have Jerry, who's an undercover Interista. He's a Simone Inzaghi fan. And we have Vishnu Parasuraman with us. So let me introduce our guest first. He is a colleague of mine at the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Huge soccer fan, big Real Madrid supporter. And Vishnu, I'm taking L's to your team left and right. 0-2 in the Champions League group stage last year. Another L for Inter against Real Madrid. How you feeling, sir?
I guess the result matters. So good about that. I thought Inter were the far better team, deserved the 3 points, frankly. And a draw was probably unfair to Inter. And then actually, I think Spain agrees too. At halftime, I logged on to Marca, which is kind of one of the Madrid dailies, and they said the best thing that happened to Madrid in the first half is the game is somehow still tied. I thought Courtois stood on his head in the first half. If you look at the stats at halftime, 14 shots for Inter, 4 on target. Like, it was a bloodbath, and then the ball just didn't go in. And that happens. I mean, that's why we love this game, right? It's so
yeah, sure.
This is probably the only sport where this can happen. If you're dominating in basketball or football, you're scoring. But this is why we love this game. But I don't think the result. I mean, I'm happy with the result. I don't think it was a fair result. I will say, this is the worst Madrid has played this year. Or maybe it's Inter is that much better than the competition they've been playing. Either or, depending on how you want to slice it. But it was definitely not deserved 3 points.
I want to say hello again to everybody in the comments. Trambach is in there. God, there's names in here I cannot pronounce, so forgive me. Harish and Marwan. I feel even bad for taking a stab at your name. I'm so sorry. But listen, I'm going to defend Jerry from this vicious attack from Trambach, who says Jerry was hyping Skriniar. And the whole Inter defense fucked up. Well, it wasn't Skriniar's fault, though. Like, the goal was not Skriniar's fault. If not for Skriniar, there could have been 3 goals, 4 goals scored. So you can't put that on Skriniar. But let me say hello to Jerry. And, Jerry, of course, was watching this game basically as a neutral. He is working on a post-game piece he's going to submit to Serpents of Madonnina later today. So, Jerry, your instant takeaways after that game.
I'm so disappointed because I was hyping up Simone Inzaghi like massive, and I thought the first half he had it all right. It was perfect, scripted. I felt that they defended a little too much in the second half. Inter they sat back, and maybe that's why Real Madrid was able to attack and get those kind of free flow chances. Skriniar, man of the match. This guy is so good. I've never seen a guy become so effective at both ends of the pitch and not be caught out really out of position. Where in the first 5 minutes, he gets that beautiful chance off with that header off the set piece. Mm-hmm. I think he's probably bar down top 3 best set piece players inside of a box, where he's able to separate himself between himself and the player, so physical, and gets a clear chance. Always, you notice he's the guy who gets a header. It's unfortunate he missed the target, but he blocks 2 shots in the last 10 minutes, which were both going to be Real Madrid goals. He makes the clear block on the first one, makes a sliding challenge on the second one on Vinicius, and it's still 0-0. Now, this goal wasn't his fault. I need to rewatch the goal because I was in shock when it all happened. It was.
I think I was in shock too. I think it had a lot to do with a couple midfield substitutes who played like ass when they came on. Arturo
Dumfries.
Vidal and Vicino. Well, yeah, Dumfries did struggle. Dumfries did struggle
Just
defensively. He had a couple of dangerous moments attacking wise, but he struggled defensively.
I'll say with Dumfries, the only problem I don't like with him is that he holds the ball too long. I notice where he's not making that quick decision to cross the ball and just deliver. He keeps on going right to the byline and he puts himself in a situation where he's out of room and you just push him out. It's just not good. And lastly, before you guys can talk, because you guys are the experts of this game, Lautaro isolated today? Absolutely not, because he had his chances to score. In the first half, he had 2 or 3 golden opportunities. If you're going to head the ball right towards Courtois, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to stop it. I think that there was a second header he had, clear break, no one around him, and he should have scored, or at least done better with his chance.
Yeah.
I just think that Lautaro Martinez was so wasteful today that it kind of reminds you maybe why Lukaku was so important when he was at Inter, because he was able to pick up the pieces that Lautaro wasn't able to do. Now, maybe I'm wrong. I'll let Mario, you guys can talk. Just frustrating to watch for Inter fans, because I hate losing in the last minute, and it's not my team, but I feel the sentiment here. Like
You're an Inter fan at this point.
Yeah.
We've initiated you, Jerry. You're in. You're in. It's all right.
You're one of us.
One of us.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, listen, I'll add a couple words. I'll let Mario get a couple words, and then I'll circle back to Vishnu. Inter were on the front foot really for the first 20 minutes. It was domination, and then Real Madrid grew into the game a little bit. But yeah, even I was getting concerned 15 minutes into the match, Inter had a couple of really nice scoring chances, and you get to that point even so early in the match where I'm thinking at some point Real Madrid will grow into the match. They'll have some dangerous counterattacks. They have dangerous players on the pitch, and that Inter were going to regret not capitalizing on the chances. I mean, Edin Dzeko had, you talked about the header that he had off the set piece in the second half where, I mean, it should have been a goal. Maybe he was a little bit unlucky. It was an excellent save by Courtois, but if he had just made the header a little bit more directional and away from the goalkeeper, we're talking about a goal there. He also had, an opportunity, tough angle, but a good chance in the first half that Courtois was able to save. Lautaro, as you mentioned, Jerry, had a couple of chances. Inter were really creative in the first half. Anytime they'd lose possession, they would get it back very quickly. The midfield was really bossing early on. I mean, Brozovic was especially good in the first half. Maybe had a little bit of a dip in the second half. Same thing with Barella. So, yeah, the Inter were firmly in control, but you knew, again, and we start to have flashbacks because when you have 3 straight seasons the last 3 years not able to qualify into the knockout stages because you've had heartbreaking results like this, especially in Europe, you start to get these flashbacks. And it doesn't matter if it's Spalletti coaching or Conte coaching or now Inzaghi coaching. There's something in the Pazza DNA of this club where you knew you were destined for heartbreak. And listen, Inter were very much in control in the first half. The second half, Real Madrid were a lot better. They were the better side in the second half, but Inter still had a handful of chances they could have or even should have put away in the second half. And I agree with someone who made a comment here. Harish mentioned that Hakan was bad. Yeah, Hakan Çalhanoğlu. This is one of those types of games where all the Milanisti are like, I told you so. I told you that's what you can expect from this guy. This was one of those games from Hakan. Hopefully we start to get more games like his Inter debut from a few weeks ago. I want to, but before I introduce Anthony, I do want to give Jerry Dancini, Mario Galliano, a chance to speak here. I mean, Mario, what were your big takeaways from the match? Who did you think was especially good? Cough, cough, Skriniar. And who did you think was especially bad in this game?
You're asking me.
Oh, no, I'm going to go. Sorry, I'm going to go to Mario first and then Anthony.
I did that on purpose, man. What's going on, boys?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Skriniar was by far not even close the man of the match. If he wasn't on the field, Vinicius Jr. would have absolutely destroyed us. He was just taking Skriniar. He was just taking left and right. He beat him once, but he couldn't beat him the second time. And Skriniar he locked him down. That was the most important person on on Real Madrid today, in my opinion. I'm a big fan of Vinicius Jr. Hakan was a letdown. Lautaro was a huge letdown. And Bastoni was a letdown for me, not because he played bad, but because he just had some moments where he would receive the ball 15, 20 yards away from the 10, 18-yard box, try to slowly turn and just lose it, putting us in a shitty position. It's something that it's like nitpicking, but it just bothers me when Bastoni should be receiving that ball and going forward or completing a pass and not losing the ball in such a dangerous area. Not to say that he played bad, but I don't think people talk about that, and I just want to kind of bring that point up. Brozovic was excellent in the first half. He couldn't really unlock the defense like he normally does, but he was breaking up plays and beginning the attacks. Whereas usually he's more involved in creating that last ball to Lautaro or Lukaku, Dzeko, whoever it is, or finding the wingers in a dangerous area. But it wasn't there today offensively with him. But that doesn't mean that he had a bad game. Just so you guys know, if someone is frustrating, they're bad.
Yeah.
At Jerry. And Hakan was very frustrating today.
What did you say?
I said we should kick you from the stream right now.
Whoa.
That's fine.
Fighting
I wasn't
words.
listening. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
I said a player that is frustrating means that they're bad.
Oh yeah, fucking. I guess the swear word came out now. I'm very frustrated with that. Yeah, because I'm so frustrated because I don't like words in my own mouth. Like if I said who was bad, Hakan was bad today. I honestly thought that Simone Inzaghi can make this guy into a better player. I'm wrong. I'll tell you right now.
I mean, listen. I want to be fair. It's been 4 games.
It's been 3 weeks.
And yeah, it's been 4 games, and he played exceptionally well in one of those.
First game, and that's it.
He played okay against Verona, I think. I mean, not great, but he played okay against Verona.
Time out. I hate debuts because anybody in a debut always does good because the emotions are high. You're excited. It's your first game. You want to get going. And then after that, the honeymoon stage is done, guys. It tails off and it just goes right back to normal. And that's what's happening with Hakan.
Wow, it's over, huh?
I not over. It's not over, but
it's over. He's finished.
I'm just frustrated the way he's been playing the last 3 games. Where I expected more from him for what people on Milan said he's so good about, like his final key pass. He's the best with his final pass. His final pass sucked today. Okay, and what pisses me off is that he should have took that shot. Why is he making a pass when I think it's Dzeko who's defended by 2 guys?
Lautaro.
Was it Lautaro?
Yeah, it was Lautaro.
Okay,
yeah.
I wasn't sure, but thank you. But he makes a pass into what? Just shoot the ball, man. Shoot it.
The worst part was that they started their runs together, and then Lautaro went to his right, and they came all the way to the other side of the box. I'm like, okay, now what? He's just opening the lane for you to shoot. And then he just plays it onto his left foot like a hospital ball. And it was ridiculous. Dumfries was bad today.
Defensively, especially.
Oh my God. Offensively too. He literally did nothing. He almost dribbled out of bounds to give a goal kick. This guy, I don't know why people are hyping him up. I am not going to join the hype train until he actually scores one of those 40, 60-yard crosses across the goal and he taps it in. I'm not going to get onto that train until he does that 15 times. So until then, I want D'Ambrosio to play in his spot because him, DiMarco, and Darmian were all terrible. Not terrible, but they weren't good. Perisic was okay. I don't think he should have been subbed off. And DiMarco came on, set piece specialist. Set pieces weren't good today. So whatever. I'm still firm that I'm not a fan of his, and sure, he was good at everywhere outside of Inter, but that doesn't mean he's going to be good at Inter, as we've seen so many players like him, exactly like him.
Well, I want to bring in Anthony from Inter Worldwide. Your big takeaways from the match, and it was, before you got on, we were talking about like the general heartbreak. Inter find a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of at least getting 1 point. I mean, at that point, it would have been just 1 point, but they find a way to drop all 3 points.
All opinions of Mario Galliano do not reflect the opinions of Inter Worldwide. So I will start by saying that as I come in here today. He's right on a couple of things. First of all, I'm not upset with personal performances or the game. It's Real Madrid. And yeah, I know this is the weakest Madrid in how many years, but it's Real Madrid. These guys psych themselves up for Champions League games like they own the tournament. They do own the tournament. Perez does own the tournament, mate. But straight up, honestly, it's just one of those things where you can see that goal coming at the end. And for me, I'm just going to put it plain and simple. That goal doesn't get conceded last year with everybody fearing an Antonio Conte slap on the neck at the end of the game. And that's just the reality of it. The fairy dust has started to wear off from a team that is so sadistically switched on to the point of no return versus a team that, is thinking, can we get to the end? Can we go without conceding a goal? Can we? All these small doubts. And I do feel bad for the defense because the defense was good today. But we didn't take our chances. And I think in a different game, we could have gone up 1-0. The worst it would have ended maybe is 1-1. And we'd be walking away here sort of with more optimism. I'm not pissed off with the performance as a whole. I'm pissed off with the typical Inter DNA way we conceded in stoppage time. I know you're a big betting man, Alex, and I can't wait till we're off camera because I'm going to tell you about a big, big way to cash in this season. And you know exactly what it is. Exactly what it is, man. We are dropping way too deep in the final minutes of the game. We're going to do this at 2-1. We're going to do this at 1-0 when we lead domestically. Yep. This is the conservative Inter that I didn't really want to see. But I will keep saying this. It's Real Madrid, yeah? We make an assumption after we play the other two sides, okay? We've got another fixture to play against a side that we should beat. And if we play the way that we did today, we can beat. But at the end of the day, like I did at the start of the game, mid-game, after the game, it's Real Madrid. You give them their respect for 94 minutes plus stoppage time and the next leg. Just focus, man, because if you come away with a draw today, it's decent. Now it sucks ass. What's going on, Manny? Nice to meet you. And nice to meet you.
Hold on, but before I'm going to leave Manny in timeout for a second. I want to let Vishnu speak again before. And here's why Manny's in timeout. Because he told me earlier today he could not join. So I'm pretty sure he made sure to clear time in his schedule because of the way that game ended. Like, I guarantee you, Manny saw the way that game ended. Oh, I've got to rub it in these guys' faces. So that's why.
You're a piece of crap.
So hold on. So I'm gonna mute Manny before I will bring him in a moment. But I want to bring Vishnu back in. You talked about how poorly for much of this match, especially the first half, Real Madrid played. Was there any point in the second half where you thought, okay, we can get a victory here, or was the smash and grab nature of it completely a surprise to you? Could you see Real Madrid really growing into it in the second half?
It wasn't a surprise from the standpoint of it definitely did grow into the game. I also thought the substitutions made a difference. I don't even know what the point of Lucas Vasquez is at this point. He's kind of a utility player. He shouldn't be starting in a Champions League game. Now, Hazard, I guess, is just not able to play 2 games in a week, so he was out. Bale's injured. Standard operating procedure for the last few years. None of those guys were available. So he went with Lucas Vasquez, who's more of the steady player. I thought when Rodrigo came on, he obviously scored the goal. But Rodrigo scored the goal. But I thought once he came in, there was at least a threat down the other side because they were able to load up on Vinicius and really take him away before that because no one's really worried about Lucas Vasquez doing much. He's more of actually last year he was playing right back and was more functional there than as a winger. So I thought the subs made different. Oh, give a shout out to one Italian, Carlo. I thought he got the subs right. Pretty interesting that Camavinga was the second guy brought on. You have Isco on the bench. You have a lot of guys with a lot of Champions League experience. He went to the youngster. That's the second guy in. But I thought the Rodrigo sub kind of changed it because it brought more of a threat. And that's when I really felt like, okay, might be able to create more chances and score. But to Anthony's point, this is, as a Madrid fan, Manny and I've seen this play like crap and win anyway in the Champions League. It's almost the opposite of Inter, right? Where you guys find a way to lose. True. This is the other end. Like something goes right for Madrid. And
must be nice.
It's almost not surprising. But I will say this: if you guys, I know we were all focused on this game. The other game in the group, Sheriff beat Shakhtar 2-0.
Yeah, I couldn't watch it. I was shocked by that result. I couldn't watch the game. Wow.
And so I don't think a 1-0, 1-0 loss to Madrid is really harmful. So as long as you don't get that, oh, here we go again thought process going, I don't think there's any way Inter should not finish at least second in the group. Like, there's no reason to not advance.
They actually have to find a way to beat Shakhtar at least once this year. They had the 2 draws last year, despite having like 30 shots to 1 ratio against Shakhtar. They have to find a way to actually beat those guys this year. But I do want to introduce the man who's taken the victory lap here. And that is a pretty beautiful jersey that he's got on. Real Madrid have nice kits. I give him that. Manny Chang is with us. Manny, your big takeaways from this match. How are you?
Good afternoon, guys. So what I took out of it is that I didn't watch the first time. I was listening to it on the radio. What it seemed like.
Well, what radio station has it? Like Spanish radio?
YouTube is the greatest invention.
Oh, okay. So, I got you.
There you go. So I was at work in the woods and I'm listening to the first half on my headset. Awesome. When I see that Inter had the majority of the possession in the first half, had the majority of the shots and chances, and had no goals, kind of reminded me on the way how Real played against Vigo this past weekend. Very slow, started very lackluster, and it took halftime adjustments to kind of get control of the whole match. My issue was that I felt that once Inter gave it their 100%, once the second half began, I didn't see that same intensity. The possession was still there, but I didn't see the same threat as it happened in the first half. And then when you go beyond that, it seemed like Carlo just got the substitution so right because the youngsters started taking over. Valverde all of a sudden can leave the midfield and just be an extra winger. And, it's just – and then you bring on an 18-year-old as a second person off the bench. It's quite clear that this 18-year-old, he's Carlos's guy, no matter what happens in what game and whatever tournament. And it just felt like this was another Inter letdown game, right? Again, let's push aside you guys won Serie A, but you guys did not beat Real Madrid last year twice.
Nope.
Right? And I think you guys had a perfect opportunity to do so, but I felt like you needed to score a goal at least in the first half to do it. Because at some point, that Real Madrid can make 3 consecutive passes, and all of a sudden it could be a shot on goal. And that's how the second half was, especially towards the end. You guys had all the possession. When you would turn over the other way, you saw it was already Benzema running this way. And then, listen, if Vinicius can actually shoot the damn ball, we probably would have been able to score 2 already. But it is what it is, right? And listen, but still, I really feel like Inter shouldn't be so upset at the way that, not the way that the game went, but the result obviously hurt.
Yeah. And Manny, that's all that I'm mad at, because at this point, Inter had a long spell up until 2018 where they weren't in Champions League. I think it was like a 6-year drought. And it's okay for like the first year back, you don't really have any expectation. The second year back, a little bit more. Third year, now it's the 4th year back. I do not believe in moral victories anymore. I don't care. I don't care whether it's against, a Real Madrid side that's, maybe not up to par from what they were a few years ago, but still very good and still very dangerous. Or if you're going up against Bayern or PSG, who did actually draw today, but I'm just talking about the players that have in the Chile. I don't care who you're going up against, and I don't care how ugly it is. Like in the case of Real Madrid, it was, from their perspective, kind of ugly to grind out the 3 points the way they did it. I do not believe in style points. Like, I don't care how well Inter played in spells of this game. At this point, I only believe in results. Results are the only thing that matters. And it's like, I look at the crosstown rivals, Milan. I was mostly watching Inter, of course, flipping back and forth. They had a couple of nice goals. I know that they're all, they can hold their heads up high. They're happy about the way that they played. They had a 2-1 lead at Anfield at one point. Like, okay, that team has been out of Champions League for like 8 years. So, they can look at some moral victories, but I think Inter is in a position where they cannot look to moral victories anymore. I want to go around with first to the Interisti, and we'll get Jerry's take as well, the undercover Interista, and then I want the Real Madrid supporters' takes on some of the best and worst on the pitch. I'll go to you first, Anthony. Who did you think in this one was Inter's best player, which is probably not too difficult? Maybe you'll have a more difficult time. Who was Inter's worst player? Give me your best and your worst from this game.
It's funny you say this. As I'm doing this, I'm typing out the player ratings that we discussed on Inter Worldwide, and I'll drop them in a comment here as well. Once again, like first half, individual performances weren't the issue. I thought Brozovic was fantastic in the first half. I even thought Barella, the way he kept Modric almost invisible on the defensive end was great. With the ball, Barella wasn't great today, but he was hustled pretty hard. I was very disappointed with the way Vidal and Vecino lost their runners when they came on. If you're coming on for a short amount of time, the least thing you can do is track everybody running back for 15 minutes. But at the end of the day, man, in terms of our starters, Skriniar, it's impossible to go by. I feel for our defense, mate. I really, really do, because I'm not too sure how they're going to recover from this on the weekend. I'm very interested to hear what everybody else thought of our team, especially the Madrid players. But for me, there was no real standout besides Skriniar's massive defensive performance and Brozovic's improved performance from his Serie A form. If Brozovic can have a game against Bologna on the weekend like he did against Madrid today, we are in for a pretty good day, in my opinion. That's it from me. I'll drop the Inter Worldwide ratings in the comments right now.
Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that. And listen, I agree. I would say, and it's no contest for who the best was in intercolors. The best player in black and blue today was Milan Skriniar. There's no doubt. Was massive defensively, was an absolute wall. Even had a couple of scoring chances on set pieces. I mean, listen, he got an unlucky bounce after the Dzeko header that Courtois saved. You know, I know some people say, I wish Skriniar could have done better with that, but it was a ricochet. It went off his thigh. Like he had his body in the right place. The ball just happened to bounce off of the wrong part of his body. So he was that close to scoring. Personally, it's harder to pick the worst. You know, you could even be tempted to look at one of the substitutes, but I'm going to look at a guy who, you know, played as a starter and played longer. I think Hakan probably the worst today. I could maybe give like an honorable mention. Maybe to Vidal, who I was hoping, because we've seen at times Vidal coming off the bench this season in Serie A and providing a positive spark. And I grade him on the curve because last year he was brutal, except for the Juventus game. Played well the first game against Juventus, really well. The rest of the season he was brutally bad, but he's been a spark a couple of times this year. Was the opposite of a spark, whatever the opposite of a spark is today. So he was up there for me as well. But Mario, what did you think? Who was your best and your worst?
I think the best player in the game was Courtois.
Ooh,
overall.
Okay. Yeah,
Without him,
he's standing on his head.
He made all the saves today. He kept Real Madrid in the game. If it wasn't for him, if it was another goalie that might have been out of position or not as good reflexes, who knows? Dzeko could have scored a couple of goals today. Skriniar might not have gotten that rebound in the first place. You know, it's like that sort of thing. I thought he was excellent, and he turned back the clock back to his Chelsea days. Worst player, I don't even. Probably Hakan too. He just couldn't get anything going. I want to say Lautaro, but at the same time, he didn't do enough bad to kill us. Where Hakan literally he just didn't do anything. He couldn't get anything going, and he's supposed to be a big part of our attack, where he's making Lautaro and Dzeko get the chances to score. Whereas today, he just wasn't doing it. We didn't see any attacking threat. There was no shots that he usually takes. Even if he takes shots and he misses them wide, you're trying and you're shooting to score. But if you're not shooting and you're not playing those key passes that you're known for, you're not making dribbles. He was losing the ball on the reception a few times in the first half when he actually was involved, and it's just not a good look. Darmian, also another one. Literally no involvement first half. We were pushing down his line, but there was just nothing happening. And I thought Perisic was good and shouldn't have been subbed off.
Yeah, I agree. That's a great point. I thought he shouldn't have been subbed off either.
I
got something off topic for 2 seconds. I know this is an show. PSG tied Club Brugge.
Yeah.
My God, I didn't even know this.
I lost a parlay because of those freaking ballers.
My God,
how does PSG tie Club Brugge?
That's what happens when you play scrub teams. Not scrub teams, sorry. Well, they don't spend millions and millions of dollars, and then all of a sudden you got to play good teams, and you come to play Club Brugge, who are a much better team compared to Ligue 1, and took them to school.
They're right there with them.
I don't know, man.
Brugge might as well play in Ligue 1.
Brugge is not a bad team, man. They're not bad though. They're in
But
made
it's
it to Champions
the
League.
best team. It's a team you can only assemble on PlayStation playing them, bro. That Paris team should be winning games 7-0 against these Bruges teams. Like, far out. Like,
if they're playing anybody, if they're playing anybody but the European powerhouses, they should be putting at least 5 goals on anybody. Bruges. I don't care what city in Belgium it is. 5 goals minimum.
Back. I just saw that right now. I had to look. I just saw it. I was like, wow, man.
Mbappe did get injured. So
did he?
Yeah, Mbappe got injured, left in the 51st minute.
That means nothing to me, man. Look at your subs. You can bring in freaking Platinum onto the bench.
Manny and I can talk you through how washed up Messi has been for a while. We got to have our Madrid hats on. So I don't honestly, no, being serious, I don't think he can carry a team on his back anymore. He doesn't do it for 90 minutes, and that's why they need Mbappe there. They need that balance, and Neymar when he decides to show up, right? That team has a lot of talent that's not really connected. So it doesn't surprise me that something like Mbappe getting injured should not matter at all against Club Bruges does matter.
Vish, stay on for a second. Sorry, Jerry.
No worries.
Who did you think, Vish, was your best and worst on the pitch today? Oh, you're muted, bro. There we go.
All right, I found the button. For me, the best I would agree with. It's Courtois. He was the person who defined the game. Because we can talk about Inter's finishing. That's why you pay for a goalie of that goalkeeper of that caliber. For this game, you make those saves. Because I can tell you right now, as much as this is what Madrid does, play poorly in the Champions League and win anyway, you lose that game, it's going to be panic time. They're going to be like, you didn't get Mbappe, now look at this. And the Madrid media gets out of control really quickly. And that's why you pay for a keeper of that caliber. To me, I mean, I hate to pile on, but Hakan was pretty terrible, noticeably, even to me, as I'm more focused on the Madrid players. So I'd say he was noticeably the worst player on the pitch. I will say a lot of the Madrid players did not play as well as they usually do. In particular, Modric and Casemiro usually are a lot more involved. I thought Inter played really well. Usually you don't see them upset rhythm. Like, I know Modric is old now. He's still at the weekend, like late in the second half, dribbled through the whole Celta defense, set up a goal. Like, I thought Inter just choked the life out of the midfield. Even in the second half when Madrid started playing better. So I thought overall it was really well played from Inter.
I will give a shout to Camavinga. He came on.
Yeah, he made a difference.
And he just changed the game right away. I don't know,
3-4 minutes.
I don't know how many players would actually see that kind of pass that he made to just hit it after for the pass to he gave the pass to Rodrigo.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was
perfect.
That was it.
And the run.
The run. Yeah, Jerry, and the run.
Well, and Jerry, who did you think? Who was your best and worst on the pitch today?
My best, like I said, Skriniar. I'm not going back on my. I'm gonna go because everyone said Hakan was Poots. I'm gonna go off guard here. I'm gonna go something different. I'm gonna say Vecino was the worst, and I had to look up something.
Oh, he was bad. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't on the pitch for very long, but he didn't belong on that field.
Not just bad.
He belonged on the team.
He came on in the 84th minute. Okay, they literally scored in the 89th minute. He literally got burned by Camavinga on that run. I watched the goal just now 15 times to break it down, and I had to see everything to that goal. And I was like, who the heck got burnt on that goal? Because you see him jogging, and he stops. Why are you stopping? Why are you stopping when you defend? That, first off, it's his fault for not picking up the guy, and it's De Vrij's fault for not picking up in the middle. If you look, it's his guy in the middle. He's supposed to be centered between the three players. He's got to be that guy to stop Rodrigo from scoring. He doesn't pick up Rodrigo. He's way off. The separation between him and Rodrigo is there's too much space for him to make that shot. I'll give another shout out to a very good performance, and I'm gonna say Samir Handanovic. And I'll say why. Because the guy has taken a lot of flack in recent weeks for not being able to handle a ball, not make a proper save, not give his team a chance to win. I thought in the second half he really stood up. He every time there was a cross, he was the first to punch it out. He looked comfortable. I personally think that if Inter has, like, on Saturday, you tell him it's a Champions League match, and maybe that's something that can give him some confidence. I think sometimes you gotta give credit to those who get pooped on too much, and Samir deserves a lot of credit today because this was his best performance in a long time for Inter, like long. And yeah, Kamavinga,
but it's funny because, but hold on, sorry to interrupt, but just the fact that you're saying that about Handanovic, it kind of goes to show how low we've set the bar, because he didn't have to do much. I mean, there was nothing there was nothing he could do in the goal. He had like one parry and he had one save that probably could have gotten if he was just standing there, like it hit him.
But you can say that about, like, what was Szczesny when he has to make one save in a game and he flutters it twice this year, 3 times.
True,
you know what I mean? It's even harder for a goalkeeper when he has to make one save in a whole game because he's not been tested. He's very cold. He's rusty. Like that's even more difficult. If you're gonna deal with 14 shots in a game, okay, like Courtois, he starts right away, 3 shots, bang, bang, bang. And as the game progresses, you're in it now. You're focused. Your body's already going. It's so much harder for a goalkeeper who has to wait 45 minutes for his first shot and be ready, especially mentally. It's not an easy part of the game where you're watching and you don't know. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't agree. Like, as a goalkeeper, it's not easy when you're sitting just waiting and waiting and waiting, and then when you are tested, you gotta be ready. And that's why I'm always down to crap on people when they're at their worst, and it's always the hardest when they're at their best. So today, you got to give it to Samir. He did what he had to, and for Inter fans, they should be happy that you're seeing the basics from him because it hasn't been there for the last 2 games. So Verona, he wasn't good. Sampdoria wasn't great. So, and then for Real Madrid, anybody who's watched Ligue 1, such as myself, Kamavinga has been up and coming, like stud in Ligue 1, man. Like people who crap on that league and said Farmers League. Well, guess what? Another product of Ligue 1 has come to Real Madrid. Right off the bench, who makes a spark? Kamavinga. The guy's what, 17 years old? 18. There you go. And he makes it look like he's 26 in his prime, making big moves, making that move right there, getting by a veteran player like Vecino, and showing who's better and getting in the right position in that space to make that nice chip pass into the box, like right in split between Skriniar and De Vrij, right to Rodrigo, makes the shot. Like I hate hearing that it's a Farmers League because the list of people who come from Ligue 1, like Eden Hazard, another player who didn't get to play today, came from Lille. Like, there's just so many good players there. And Courtois, I agree with Mario. Courtois was star of the game because in the first half, he robbed Lautaro Martinez 2 or 3 times. He robbed Dzeko, made
point blank.
Yeah, like there were just, even if it wasn't a save, he was just punching balls out. Just an overall, like I didn't see a lot from like Vish is right. I didn't see a lot from any Real Madrid player to say, "Oh my God, you were amazing. You were wow. You were like nothing." Like Benzema. I think Benzema was poor today. Really, I think Inter took him out of the game, made him non-factor. Didn't really create much. I didn't see much from him. Maybe
I mean the guy that can. Yeah, well, he had some. He had some nice passes to set up teammates, and like Vinicius was concerning to me because he was going by Dumfries, like, you know, going through like a sun pass lane on the turnpike. I don't know if our Canadian and Australian friends know what that's about.
Shoot the damn ball.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's the thing. Well, and he made terrible decisions in the final third because when he got into the box, he was either shooting when he should have been trying for a cross or crossing when he should have been shooting. So, I mean, luckily he made poor decisions in the final third, I thought. And yeah, sorry. Did you have anything else, Jerry? Because we'll go through in a little bit. We'll go through parting comments for this one.
Yeah, Dumfries didn't look good either.
No.
I agree. Like, Yeah, I know. It's too early. Like Mario's right. There's more. You need to see more of how he's gonna do. But early stages don't look good, I guess. Darmian should never have came off. I thought that taking off
Not for
Darmian and Perisic, it was just too. You know what? Another person who really disappointed me today, and I'll add to the list of unexpected is Simone Inzaghi. I'll give Simone Inzaghi an F today because
F. Wow.
Yeah, I'll give him an F because I expect way better from him because he really didn't manage the game well in the second half. Like,
yeah, honestly, I thought outside of
managerial.
Yeah,
no, man.
First
I don't
game,
know, man.
very
disappointed.
First time coach of Inter, first game at home. You got to give him just a little bit. Going forward, though, this can't happen. I mean,
2 games in a row.
Listen,
it's two games in a row.
It is too early.
Mario, how many people expect the coach to go and put the ball in the back of the net when he puts them in perfect positions to do so?
I agree.
I get that,
man. We had the chances.
Who's brain freeze in the 90th minute when legs are tired and your mind can't think? It's not the coach's fault.
Nope.
Yeah,
you can't give him an A, but you can't give him an F.
Yeah,
you can't give him an F. But listen.
Sorry, man.
He took 2 of the best center midfielders in the world in Luka Modric and Casemiro out of the game completely. They did nothing. To be able to do that is not an easy feature because Luka Modric could have easily just ran train on us like he did last year. He had really good games against us last year, and that was against Conte of all people. So to say that what's his name, Inzaghi lost the game, I don't think so. Sure, the subs were poor, I'll give you that, but you can't charge for human error. Like, come on, like you can't take the fact away that Courtois had the game of his life in the past 5 years. Like he hasn't played that well from the last I can remember. So you can't play him in on Inzaghi when Dzeko's missing sitters. Lautaro's missing sitters. Skriniar.
Exactly.
But why are you taking Dzeko off? Like, why Dzeko? Why Dzeko? Come on.
I agree.
I'm telling you, maybe not enough, but I don't think he was good today, Inzaghi, with his decision making.
So I don't think his subs worked, but I think he has to get credit for the way they set up and came out. Like that's also on him, and dominating Real Madrid, even this version is impressive. But I think he doesn't get an A because I thought his subs. I agree with Jerry. Were terrible, didn't work, made the team worse. So I think he gets deducted for that. But an F to me is like you're making a sub in the 10th minute because you completely screwed up which you've seen managers do.
All 5 subs. No, you're right. 5 subs.
You're right, but like none of his decision making. And when he did it, just didn't look. Perisic and Darmian at the 55th minute.
Early too. Yeah,
too early. Come on, man, guys. Like I get it. I get it. The game was controlled properly at the beginning, absolutely. But your job as a manager. Also, and it's more important as a manager, is how you control it as the game progresses, because you're always how you start the game out. It's kind of obvious. You're starting 11, what you're going to go out with. Your game plan, which you've been going on a consistent basis. Now, when you make your decisions of when you're going to take your players off, who you're going to take off, is very vital. I think that's the bigger part of where you're being critiqued as a manager. Like you bring on DeMarco and Dumfries, both look bad. DeMarco looked bad too.
He looked bad. Dumfries looked worse.
Yeah, you could say that. And then you bring on Correa for Martinez. Why, man? I don't get this. You brought Correa to play with Martinez. That's a third. There's another problem. Okay, I'm not done yet. You bring on Vidal. This was I know what.
Well, forget
I won't poop on Vidal. I won't poop on Vidal.
I'll poop on Vidal. He was poor.
No, I won't poop on MB.
He's absolutely horrible, Jerry. You do not watch him.
No, hold on. I get that.
You do not watch him, dude.
Hold on. I get that.
Stealing money.
I get that. He hasn't been bad this season, though, off the bench. That was his worst performance off the bench. And that's why I will not go against him. It was a one-off with Vidal. You got to be honest, Alex. He hasn't been bad in his 3 matches off the bench.
No, not at all. I just thought he was bad today. In the other matches,
absolutely.
He's been fine.
That's not on him, though, like you just said. Like Anthony said, you can't fault the performance. And in that situation, I will not fault Vidal on. I won't fault Simone Inzaghi with Vidal because he can't control that. That's the right choice to bring on. I get that. But then you go Vecino. Vecino. Why Vecino for Barella? Why are you taking Barella off? Let him finish the stupid game. The guy's effective. He's working hard. You got to close the game out with your best players. You're putting weakness out. Vecino's not good anymore, man.
No, he's terrible.
Such a downgrade.
The reason why we haven't sold him is because nobody wants to buy him. He's bad.
You're telling me you don't have better options to take off? Oh, you do have Galliard. Oh my God,
I love Jerry's going to talk himself into. That was absolutely the right. Remember, since he's injured, Gagliardini is shit.
You don't even make the decision. Just leave him. Sometimes you don't make a fifth a sub. Maybe just do 4 and leave your best player out. Go ahead, Mario. I don't know, man. I'm just so fucking like. And I'm not an Inter fan. I'm an Inzaghi fan, but this is so frustrating. Man.
So real something. So I did say that I thought Inter started off wonderfully, and I thought they could actually carry the momentum in the second half. However, I did mention once those substitutions occurred, especially so damn early. If I was Inzaghi, I would have at least waited maybe the 65th minute, maybe that would be the latest. But you can't just expect 10, 15 minutes coming out of the dressing room. Okay, we're going to do a change. If that's the way you're going to do it, you should have just done the changes before the second half even started because the players have already been out there for 10, 15 minutes. All of a sudden, you put 2 new guys in. I don't know how long they played. They don't look like they have any idea what type of system they were supposed to be running, okay? And then that's when Carlo waited, and then he brought in the youngsters of Rodrigo and whatnot. And real quickly, huge kudos to Carlos Ancelotti today because he just did point out and mention in the post. Well, that's your problem.
I despise him. I know. It's my problem.
He did mention that he was going to put in Eden Hazard. Damn. He was going to put in Eden Hazard, but the way that Inter was controlling the midfield going forward, he wasn't, really – I guess convinced that the Hazard was the best possible option. So then he went with Rodrigo. So who ends up scoring the goal? Rodrigo. So if there's anything out of that, but still, I think that Inzaghi he shouldn't get fully blamed for it. But I feel like Inter lost the game in the second half because of his really early substitutions / whatever else you want to call it. Right? It just seemed like everything just went. Whatever Inter built up to that particular moment. The minute those subs came in, that was it. And Inter needed a goal. They needed to score a goal, and they did it. And then that happens, it's a total letdown, especially at home. So I kind of can see your
hold on real quick, because Anthony's got to run. I want to give you a chance if you have a couple seconds here, Anthony. He's got to run off to work. If you want to plug Inter Worldwide and what you're doing there.
More so, it's just like it's really good opinions all around this table. I don't think anybody has been incorrect in any real way, shape, or form, except Jerry giving Inzaghi an F. But that's all good, man. I still would have given him no more than a C minus.
No, just 2 seconds. I give him an F and I get pooped on. I say that Inzaghi is the best thing in the world. I get pooped on. So I'm a lose-lose situation.
Well, yeah, but you're getting pooped on by different people. Because if you say Inzaghi's best in the world, you get pooped on by the Lazio fans who are bitter. If you say he gets an F, you get pooped on by Inter fans. So you can't win one way or the other.
I'll just say, for me personally, if the boys can turn around and play really well against Bologna on the weekend, then I'll forget all about this because this isn't necessarily a performance-based loss that leaves me feeling upset. This is how is this going to detrimentally impact the psyche of the side who, let's face it, as I said, Antonio Conte brings a very specific sort of fairy dust about him when it comes to coach a team. You don't concede late goals. Inter, the last 2 seasons, conceded so few goals in that final 5 to 6 minutes. We were more prone to conceding those goals in minuto 60, 65. Then we had more than enough time to bury that game. We're going to go back to that Spalletti sort of shit this season where we protect a 1-goal lead like it's the last game of the season. I foresee drop points. I hope I'm really wrong about that. And I really think that we can change that mentality with a win over Bologna and a win in our second Champions League game. Guys, it's Real Madrid. The respect needs to stay on their name for now. So It was really nice to meet Manny and Vish. And thank you, as always, Jerry and Alex. It's always a pleasure. And my good friend, Mario.
Thank you so much, man. That's Anthony Privitera from Inter Worldwide, bringing awesome stuff as always. Go ahead, Mario.
One last thing before I guess we're calling it what we're doing. This game was screaming for two players, Sensi and Eriksson.
Yes, and one of them, we saw what happened over the summer, and the other one being Sensi, he spends more time injured than not injured.
See, Eriksson would have been wonderful because he would have regained that possession up front, and his mentality have always been attack, go forward, create those lanes on the outside. So great shout out there, Cherry.
Yeah, totally.
Cherry.
Totally, but his name is Mario, but he's trolling Jerry with the Cherry Mancini.
I just wanted to put Cherry in.
Fair enough. And Mario, we'll start going around the table so we can all plug our work and what we're doing before we wrap it up. You're part of Inter Worldwide as well, but where else can people find your propaganda?
You can find me on Twitter at Mario Sweatshirt. That's where I do all my bullshitting. Every now and then I'll write for Serpents of Madrid. I'm here, Inter Worldwide podcast. I'm not sleeping at 2:00 in the morning. And Instagram, Mario Dowski, if you want to follow me there. That's it.
Love it. In fact, I don't think I follow you on Instagram, or maybe I do. I know Twitter, obviously, Facebook. I know we're friends. I got to check it out on Instagram. Yeah. Let me go next to Vishnu. Vish, thank you so much for hopping on, man. For you and Manny to help us get the Real Madrid perspective. Where can people find you and all your work?
So, you can see my Twitter handle and name there. I primarily work with Donno on college football, Miami Hurricanes. I don't know how much interest that is here, but obviously I'm a huge other kind of football fan. You'll tell if you're following me on Twitter, you'll know when Madrid's playing. It's just verbal diarrhea on my Twitter account. But I was working this time, so I was trying to keep it professional because it was during work hours. So the weekends are definitely worse there. But I will say, just overall, they do the fixtures in reverse. So this is actually the last match day in the group stage. Based on what I saw today, I think both these teams will probably be qualified by the time that game kicks off. I think these are going to be the top two teams in the group by a wide distance. I know actually both teams struggled with Shakhtar last year. It was basically the same group with one team different. But I don't think this year it's going to happen. Last year was a weird year with kind of COVID travel and all that. I think these are the two best teams in the group by a wide distance. So I think we can link up again in a few months and be talking about anxiously awaiting the draw for the knockout stage.
Yeah, you are right. They're the two best teams in the group, but also I wouldn't be surprised if Inter finds a way to come in third in the group. I'm bracing myself for that. Yeah, I know Mario wouldn't be either. Oh man, and how about Manny? Let the people know where they can find you, sir.
You have to mute Jerry because he's going to interrupt me.
I will not. I will do no such thing. Jerry will stay unmuted.
No, well, you can find my Twitter handle right there. Talk to me about anything. I am, though, very happy on back-to-back nights where Inter Miami looked like they were going to be down 1-0. Thank God there's no goal line technology. Screw Toronto fans. I'm sorry if you're anybody's from Toronto. And Hala Madrid.
Jerry is. Oh, my God.
Listen, Jerry likes fucking Edmonton. He likes the Cowboys in football.
They don't have a soccer team, though, Edmonton, so he's got to go for Toronto.
TSC sucks.
Well, there you go. Yes, Inter should not have an issue being the second team heading out. I think total meltdown will be third place heading into Europa, right? Is that where third place ends up going?
That's where third place ends up. Yeah, third place is Europa. No, I'd actually rather finish fourth and third like last year. Like I'd rather go nowhere than go back into Europa.
You could win the
Europa, a little bit of money, yeah. There's not that much money in Europa though.
Money's money, man.
You can win the Europa, make some money, and
we'll choke in that too.
Would you rather take $2,000 or nothing? I take $2,000.
I'll take $2,000. You're right. I know. Suning would rather take the $2,000.
I'm just saying this is a favor.
Yeah.
I agree with Manny. That doesn't happen often.
Nope.
So sorry, Manny. Were you finished? I don't know if I interrupted you or not.
I have no idea where we're at.
Should have muted you. I should have muted you, not me.
Yeah, you're right. I was the one who interrupted. I should have been muted.
Exactly.
Well, we'll go to Jerry then. Jerry.
Bitcoin.
Now I muted him.
There we go.
Jerry, where can people find you? And I know you're working on a post-game piece for Serpents of Madonnina. When's that going to drop?
Tomorrow it will drop, but just praying for them. And
does Lazio play tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah.
They do.
Oh yeah, that's right, guys.
And we did an episode yesterday. We did hold on. Let me interrupt Jerry now. We did an episode with Soccer Bob from TurkishSoccer.com to actually preview tomorrow's matchup between Lazio and Galatasaray. Although, dude, I felt so clowned by Bob, who's such a good guy, because he had all the proper Turkish pronunciations. And so, like, it looks like Galatasaray, but he was like Galatasaray. Like, the way he said it was like, wow, I'm way off on this.
Galatasaray.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
I will say, I heard all of you say Inter correctly like so many times on this, and I felt so bad saying Inter in my American accent. And I'm just like,
well, as long as the most important thing to learn about when you say Inter is that like Interisti, Inter supporters, like they don't like it when you call them Inter Milan. Like sometimes I even have to do that when I'm talking to South Floridians because I don't want them to think I'm talking about Inter Miami. So sometimes I have to say Inter Milan just so they know, but Interisti hate it when you call them Inter Milan.
So it's the same thing when I see a United fan and say, "Hey, go Man U." They all get frustrated about it. Like seriously, they all look at me like it's not Man U, it's Manchester United.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I also like when I saw on Twitter today. Hold on, just an off topic. I like how all the Milan fans today thought they were going to win against Liverpool at halftime, and
dude, I thought. And listen,
they were so excited.
Kudos to them. They scored a couple of really nice goals, but the way that they were twerking at halftime, I'm like, bro, you do realize there's another 45 plus minutes and you're going up against the likes of Mohamed Salah and you're at Anfield. So it's like, listen, be happy about your goals, but you still have a long fucking way to go. They didn't seem to understand that.
Alex and Jerry, they were crying.
Yes.
Joy at halftime.
But Matteo Bonetti basically said he could die at halftime and he would die a happy man.
Like, did you guys forget? This is a group stage match. There's still a second half. Like Klopp's not gonna go ahead and
this
just
is Milan
at home. Like,
it's also embarrassing for a club with that history to act like that.
Good point. Like, 7-time Champions League winners.
Club Brugge should have been doing that.
No. Time out. The problem with that is, first off, it's the typical Milan way of celebrating halfway through the whole thing.
Do you remember when they were up? You remember a couple years ago, Mario? They were up 2-0 against Inter at halftime, and they were like freaking doing cartwheels, popping champagne, and then Inter won 4-2.
This is an Milan Twitter. It's a sensation. They go halfway, they cheer like they won, like the game's over, like they won the Serie A, the Scudetto, and then all of a sudden it just crashes.
The Winter Scudetto, and even halfway through a season, the Winter Scudetto last year.
I have to tweet this out.
To Vish's point, the problem with that is that all the Milanisti on Twitter have never seen a Scudetto before. So
because they're 16,
because they're exactly like you'd be like, oh yeah, they have no idea. They've never fucking felt a win before because the last time they won, they were in the freaking womb.
Jeez, I feel like this is like the way that we're talking right now is the way that Vish and Manny would be talking about like Barcelona if this was a La Liga pod right now. Or Atletico, good shout.
Go ahead and win, La Liga once every 5-6 years. Go ahead and win the Copa del Rey, twice out of every 5 or 6. But bro, let's be honest here. What really matters to us is the whole Champions League, no matter what. So
Atletico got lucky today. They got lucky.
I'm not here to crap on Milan. Like, I don't care. Like, I just think it's just, it's the first thing I was looking at my Twitter at halftime. Like, what is going on here? Like, I saw people saying, I love Milan. I love this team. And it's like, whoa,
dude, our buddy Michael Lisi, I think, went streaking. Like, I think he's probably in jail for indecent exposure. Like, he went streaking down his block.
Bro, I never, ever, I don't think, I celebrate after goals. All the time, people know how I am. When Lazio scores, I celebrate goals. I guess that's normal for any team. But I've never celebrated at halftime like we won the game because I know how my team is. I know how any team is. Even the best teams can drop in the second half. What?
Jerry self-proclaims his best coach, best midfield, best forward, best defense, best benches, best seats, best chairman, best CEO, best advertisements, best
we don't have
logos on the jerseys.
We don't have a sponsor 10 years.
They have the best groundsmen. They have the best physios. They have the best marketing crew. They got the best Twitter. They got the best name. They got the best iPad. They got the best phones. They got the best cleats. They got the best water bottles. They got the best toilet paper rolls.
The best jerseys.
They only go clean. Quadruple ply.
Hey, I gotta run, guys. I need to close it on that note because I'm at my parents' house. I got to take my son home before he drives grandma completely crazy because I can hear my kid. And by the way, dude, watching games with my kid, like he doesn't. He's 3 years old. He doesn't understand. I have to explain to him every time Inter plays. He asks me, "Where is Lukaku?" And it's getting harder and harder to explain it to him. I think he's going to become a Chelsea fan because Lukaku is his favorite player. And then I'm like, "Oh, we still have Lautaro, who he also likes." And then this was in the second half. He's like, "Where is Lautaro?" I'm like, "Oh, he's on the bench. He needed to rest." And then I'm like, "But his friend Correa is on. We like him too." He didn't seem into it, man. So it was tough.
Are you at your parents' house?
Yeah.
You're at your parents' house?
Yeah.
Are they Interisti as well? Because they're behind you, man. What's up with the black and blue?
Oh, I put that up there. Those are those are acoustic panels. I got black and blue ones.
Okay, I was saying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my father is an Inter fan. My mom has never watched more than a minute of football in her entire life. But yeah, my father is. Yeah,
that's no in desire. Probably smart.
Probably so. She's saving herself a lot of pain
and a lot of money.
A lot of money. So like I said, I appreciate everybody for hopping in. I cannot thank you guys enough. Of course, another shout out to Anthony, who had to bow out a few minutes ago from Inter Worldwide. Mario, a.k.a. Cherry Dancini from Inter Worldwide as well. Serpents of Madonnina. Jerry, of course, he's pointed that Lazio badge.
Tomorrow, baby. Let's go.
Don't fuck it up tomorrow against Galatasaray. Yeah. Or however we say it.
And Champions League. The real teams are in Europa League. Go look at that Lazio.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Better than Conference League.
No swearing on this pod. Do you understand?
Go home, Jerry.
Shut up.
Go back to Vancouver.
Edmonton Oilers training camp begins in 2 weeks, brother.
Europa League. Best anthem. Best day to play football on a Thursday afternoon where people are just home doing nothing.
Yeah,
I muted him.
Unfortunately, half of Canada can't even watch it. Half of Canada can't even watch it, unfortunately, because they have TV.
Best at dropping points. Best at losing.
I muted
best
Gary.
At giving up goals.
All right, we got to wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Ciao.
Huge thanks to Jerry, to Mario, to Vish, and to Manny. We'll talk to you guys next time on another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast. Ciao.
Juventus sucks. Roma